It was well past midnight when I finally slipped into bed, exhausted from the long day. My husband Mark was out of town for work, his absence leaving the house eerily silent. I had double-checked the locks before heading upstairs, reassured myself that everything was secure. Yet, as I lay there in the dark, something felt off. The wind outside whistled softly through the trees, and the rhythmic ticking of the clock filled the stillness of the bedroom. I closed my eyes, exhaling slowly, trying to let sleep take over. And then I felt it, warmth, a presence behind me. My body stiffened instantly. Mark wasn't home. I was supposed to be alone. A shiver ran down my spine as the realization sank in. Someone was in my bed. I fought against the rising panic and slowly turned my head, my breath catching in my throat. The faint glow of the street lamp outside cast a dim light into the room, and in that moment, I saw him. Ryan, my neighbor. His face was calm, his body relaxed as if he belonged there. "You left the back door unlocked," he murmured, his voice low, almost teasing. "No, I didn't," I whispered, my heart pounding against my ribs, but I wasn't sure anymore. Had I been so distracted earlier that I had forgotten? Ryan and I had always been friendly, perhaps too friendly. He had moved in next door a year ago, a single man in his early 40s, charming in that effortless way that made you want to linger in his presence. We had shared stolen glances, harmless smiles, little moments that felt like nothing at the time. But now, as he lay beside me in my bed, I knew those moments had been something more. "I couldn't stop thinking about you," he admitted, his hand resting gently on my waist. And with Mark gone, his words sent a thrill through me, one I knew I shouldn't be feeling. This was dangerous, reckless, but as much as my mind screamed at me to push him away, my body betrayed me. The tension, the temptation, it was intoxicating. "This isn't right," I murmured, yet I didn't move. His fingers traced a slow, deliberate path down my arm. "Then tell me to leave." I opened my mouth, but no words came out, because the truth was, I didn't want him to leave. The weight of my own desires pressed down on me as heavily as his presence beside me. My marriage hadn't been the same for years. Mark and I had become distant, like two strangers sharing a house rather than a life. And now here was Ryan, offering me something I hadn't felt in so long. Passion. I turned fully to face him, the hesitation lingering between us. "This changes everything," I whispered. His lips curved into a knowing smile. "I know." And as the night stretched on, I let the warmth consume me, knowing there would be no turning back. The next morning, the weight of my actions settled over me like a heavy fog. The sunlight streamed through the curtains, casting a golden glow across the room. Ryan was already awake, leaning against the headboard, watching me. "Regrets?" he asked, his voice husky from sleep. I swallowed, my mind racing. "I don't know." He reached over, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. "We don't have to figure it all out right now." But how could I not? I had crossed a line I could never uncross. My mind flashed to Mark, unaware of what had happened in our bed, in our home. Would he sense it when he returned? Would the guilt eat away at me until I confessed? Ryan sat up, stretching, his bare chest catching the morning light. "You know, I never planned for this to happen," he admitted. "But I don't regret it." I sat up slowly, pulling the sheets around me. "It's not that simple." "I know," he said. "But tell me something. When was the last time you felt alive?" I opened my mouth, but no words came, because the truth was, I couldn't remember. He leaned in, his lips brushing my forehead. "Think about it," he murmured, before slipping out of bed. I watched as he pulled on his clothes, moving with a calm confidence that only made my heart pound harder. As he reached the door, he turned back. "If you need me, you know where to find me." And just like that, he was gone. I lay back against the pillows, staring at the ceiling, my mind a storm of emotions. The warmth of last night still lingered on my skin, but the cold reality of the morning settled into my bones. What had I done? And more importantly, what would I do next?